Alright guys, good morning. This is the episode for Tuesday, December 2nd, episode 47. What are equivalent and unit ratios? And I want you to get two different colors that you can use for highlighters and highlight one of the words equivalent as a color and then highlight the word unit. So we're going to talk about unit and equivalent ratios in today's episode. Okay, so let me give you guys an example that we talk about every day in class, and that is we talk about notebooks. And so you can buy 2 notebooks for $1. That's a ratio. A ratio is when you can do something for something else, or you have something for something. So 2 notebooks for $1 is a ratio. So let's take that and let's talk about what is a unit ratio. So if 2 notebooks cost $1, we can easily say that 1 notebook is going to cost 50 cents. And that is a unit ratio. A unit ratio is how much for one of something. Unit means 1. So 1 notebook will cost 50 cents. That would be the unit ratio for 2 notebooks. For 2 notebooks for $1. So with the unit ratio, we can use that information to answer questions like how much would 3 notebooks cost. So if 1 notebook costs 50 cents, then we could say that 3 notebooks would cost $1.50. 4 notebooks would cost $2. This all is the same thing as 1 for 50 cents, right? You're not getting a better deal, you're getting the same thing. So that's what an equivalent ratio. So an equivalent ratio means you're getting the same thing. All right, it's different numbers, but buying 3 notebooks for $1.50 would be the same thing as buying 1 for $1.50. So buying 3 notebooks for $1.50 would be the same thing as buying 2 notebooks for $1. Those are equivalent ratios. So equivalent ratios means you have 2 ratios, but they really just mean the exact same thing. So next, let's look at an example where the numbers aren't kind of so easy, and let's look at another strategy that we can use for ratio. All right, so let's say Mr. Dominguez is selling his notebooks. He's selling 5 notebooks for $3. Is that the same deal as getting 1 notebook for 50 cents? So that's kind of what we're going to look at today. And so a strategy that we can use is to make a ratio table. So I'm going to make a table, and I'm going to write this side will be my notebooks, and this side will be my dollars. So 5 notebooks will cost $3. And so to answer this question, I got to figure out how much does 1 notebook cost. And so whenever I'm trying to figure out how much 1 cost of something, I'm looking for the unit ratio. Okay, so I highlighted the 1 yellow because that's going to be my unit ratio. So go ahead and highlight that 1 here. So we got to figure out how much is 1 notebook going to cost. Well, we need to divide. Or you can look at it as opposite multiplication, right? We know that 1 times 5 equals 5. So 5 divided by 5 equals 1. So I take that information and go over here and say, what is $3 divided by 5? Okay, so I'm going to work that out over here on the side of my page over here on this side. So I'm going to do $3 divided by 5. 5 can go into 3 0 times. Oh, sorry, off the page. 5 can go into 30 6 times for 30. 5 times 6 is 30. And so 1 notebook is going to cost 60 cents. So that is my unit ratio. My unit ratio is 1 notebook costs 60 cents. So his notebooks are more expensive for 1. And once I know that, I can kind of build up my table. So if 1 notebook costs 60 cents, that means that 2 notebooks are going to cost $1.20. I just double it. I'm going to count by 60 cents, and I'm going to count by 1s over here. 3 notebooks are going to cost $1.80. 4 notebooks are going to cost $2.40. 5 notebooks would cost $3. And that's what I would do with my table here. And I can keep that pattern going just by kind of skip counting by 60 cents or skip counting by 1 over here. So with my green marker, I'm going to kind of highlight all of these. $5, 5 notebooks for $3 is equivalent to 4 for 20. It's equivalent to 3. So everything in my table here, these are all equivalent ratios. So I'm going to color them all green. And let's write over here to the side what's not an equivalent ratio. So for Mr. Dominguez, 2 notebooks, if he was selling notebooks, 2 notebooks for $1.20, and then up here I was selling 2 notebooks for $1. So is that equivalent? No. So 2 notebooks for $1, we would say these are not equivalent ratios. Not equivalent because they're not equal. They're not the same. One is obviously different than the other. So I'm going to write that, not equivalent ratios. I'm going to circle that. Okay? All right, those are my notes on ratios today. If you want to practice this on iExcel, it is on AA8. is the thing, and we're gonna talk about this tomorrow. So let me show you one example. It says 15 chairs at 3 tables. How many chairs are at per table? You can make a little table chart like we made on ours, talking about this, or you can make one of these, or you can just draw this out. If there's 3 tables and 15 chairs, you're going to see how many there are for 1. So I'm going to divide that, and that means per means 1. So I'm divide it by 5, and I'll get 5. So if you can do 12 push-ups in 2 days, how many push-ups can you do per day? The word per means 1. So I'm going to say I can do 12 divided by 2 is 6. Okay? So you can practice that tonight if you want. If we're going to practice this tomorrow and for the rest of the week here in class. All right, don't forget to complete your summary, and thank you guys for watching.